Hey there, Ken here again from NoBrainer. Here to bring you another GMAT exercise. This exercise was sent to me by one of my students, Jacob. And without further ado, let's get right down to it. So today's mind teaser comes straight out of the GMAT Official Guide 2017. It's actually problem number 314, as you can see there, and it's actually a data sufficiency question. Now, for those of you who know data sufficiency, basically you have a question and two pieces of information, and your task is to determine which, if not both, of the pieces of information are necessary to answer the question. So let me just read it to you. You can see it here, but I'll read it out loud. The question is, what is the tens digit of positive integer x? And the two data statements go like this. The first one reads, x divided by 100 has a remainder of 30, and the second statement says x divided by 110 has a remainder of 30. So that's the question, short and simple. I suggest if you want to give it a try first, that you pause the video now and then come back when you're ready to hear my solution. So this is a short but rather abstract data sufficiency question. The first thing that I would recommend for all of my students is to categorize the question. And this is clearly something related to number properties. And it also fits into the subcategory of explicit solution DS, data sufficiency, as opposed to what I call yes-no data sufficiency. Essentially, the question is asking what is the tens digit of some integer of which we don't know right now. So sounds a bit weird, could be obviously any number whatsoever. So if anybody's confused by the ask, the first thing I like to do is keep things very simple. For example, if I take the number 17, the tens digit is 1, whereas the units digit is 7. So in that case, clearly the tens digit is 1. And if I take another random number, let's say 28, now the tens digit is 2. So clearly we can come up with an infinite number of examples where the tens digit could be anywhere from 0 to 9. Now, when we look at data statement 1, data statement 1 said x divided by 100 has a remainder of 30. Now, if you try to answer this theoretically, I think you start running into some roadblocks. So what I like to recommend to my students is just discover the problem, discover the situation. What number divided by 100 has a remainder of 30? Now, you could randomly say check, oh, I don't know, let's say we take 101 and divide it by 100. What does it equal? It equals 1 unit, 1 whole, with a remainder of 1. So from that we might see that 130 divided by 100 would give us 1 with a remainder of 30. Okay, so we've found an example, x equals 130, where when we divide it by 100, we get a remainder of 30. So we could continue down this path, look for other numbers that also satisfy the statement itself. And when we think about 140, gives us a remainder of 40, 150, a remainder of 50. So let's try 230. Well, 230 divided by 100 now gives us 2 with a remainder of 30. And additionally, we can go all the way to, let's say, 1030 divided by 100 actually will give us 10 with a remainder of 30. So what we might start seeing happening now is there is a pattern. The number divided by 100 that gives us a remainder of 30 must have 30 as the last tens and units digit, satisfying the question that in that case, if x is divided by 100 and has a remainder of 30, we know the tens digit will always be the number 3. Therefore, statement 1 is sufficient. Let's now do the same with statement 2. Statement 2 said x divided by 110 as a remainder of 30. So let's start looking for a pattern of what happens with x when we divide it by 110 and have a remainder of 30. Well, add 30 to 110, or 140, and by the pattern of statement 1, we may see that this gives us 1 remainder 30. The thing now is, let's try to create another value of x that would give us a remainder of 30. And we would discover that if we look for an answer with 2 units remainder of 30, that in fact we would have to it wouldn't be 240, it would be 250, right? 250 in this case divided by 110 is 2 remainder 30. Hopefully now we've discovered the pattern that basically if we take any whole number, multiply it by 110, and then add 30, that resulting number would, when divided by 110, give you a remainder of 30. And that's the key insight to this problem. So when we try it with 250, it satisfies the remainder 30 when divided by 110, just as does 360, because 360 divided by 110 is 3 remainder 30. So right away, you should recognize that we satisfied the data statement, but we have, in this case, 3 different tens position values for what's essentially x. So statement 2 is insufficient, and the answer to this question is A. Statement 1 alone is sufficient to satisfy the question. So that's it. Not too bad. The key there is really discovery, trying numbers, satisfying the data statements, and determining whether you can have different answers to the question stem. The answer was A. Hopefully you all understood that, and if not, feel free to hit me up at NoBrainer. We've got a Facebook page, /NoBrainer Test Prep, and follow me here on YouTube for more tips and more exercises just like this, and one day you too will be able to make your exercises for GMAT, GRE, SAT, etc. a no-brainer. See you soon.